The book of Isaiah, chapter 19, and verse 2 in the NLT. I'm sorry, KJV. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. The BES version, Isaiah 19:2. And the Egyptians will be stirred up against the Egyptians, and the man shall fight against his brother, and the man against his neighbor, city against city, and law against law. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem HaBashai, Wahara Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel. It's scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some look like the heathen. Beginning with 144,000. Preachers, teachers, and prophets. Shalom. And as we read in Isaiah 19:2, in the KJV and the BES, going to law against law. Hey, state officials against federal officials. Okay? The lower bodies of the government against the higher bodies of the government. So you see, you got division on all angles. All right? This place is finished. Now you got right here in Minneapolis, they just declared
she also used her vehicle.
They just declared.
There's news. Fox News alert: an unlawful assembly declared in Minneapolis.
It says overnight Minneapolis police officer, Indianapolis Police Department, Indianapolis declared unlawful assembly. All right, you know, over this situation with this woman, man. Notice the difference. With George Floyd, this happened less than a mile away from the same situation that George Floyd. You know, the situation with George Floyd. My fault, y'all. I'm tired. I ain't sleep good last night. And the difference between the two situations would be with George Floyd dealing with the so-called Negroes. You know, you had other people out there protesting with them, right? That was a protest against injustices against so-called black people. Well, with this situation, it's protests against ICE. Okay, against ICE, and they're and what they're doing, and what they did to the so-called white woman. All right, notice it ain't got nothing to do with immigration, with the so-called illegals or immigrants or none of that. So you see what's going on here. These people are protesting against federal officials. All right, to the point it says protesters stormed Minneapolis hotel where ICE agents believed to be staying. And they declared it an unlawful assembly.
These protesters, some who turned into rioters, surrounded a hotel where they thought ICE agents are staying. Our Garrett Tanney was on the scene. He reports a small group of the protesters broke into the depot in downtown Minneapolis, which I believe is attached to the hotel. They were tossing around the furniture inside while others were spray painting anti-ICE messages on the windows.
And look, who was it? Is it that the mayor, the governor, whoever? Said, told ICE to get the F up out of there. And you got these officials on the state level, right, that don't want ICE around. Coming straight out telling them. Well, that's spreading. And you got the same situation in, I believe, Pittsburgh. Well, I believe it's the city of Pittsburgh. But I know I'm almost certain it's the state of Pennsylvania. All right? They're saying, hey, if you come there with that same foolishness, they're going to charge you and you're going to get locked up. All right? Notice, they did the same thing with the National Guard. They don't want the National Guard out. They didn't want them in D.C., Memphis, what's the other one? Chicago. So you see, it was always a build-up for more and more division and for the states to build against the federal government. Okay? So we here, man. They declared it an unlawful assembly, right? Real quick. And this is only going to spread, man. We're witnessing these prophecies, man. All right? 2nd Esdras 15. Remember, it's going to turn up more and more. 2nd Esdras 15 and 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. This is what we're witnessing, man. These people are not backing down from police, from any type of officials, from local authorities, from federal authorities, from politicians, which should be the kings and princes, and none of that. And these people standing on what they believe in, and they tearing stuff to pieces. So you got division on all levels. It says that man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You see that? And this is only going to escalate more. Hey, let's stop right there, and we're going to play this video. Hey, real quick, it says mysterious armed man began shooting at terrorists in Great Smoky Mountains, Part says. So you got a lot going on. Now, when you look up unlawful assembly, right, it says an AI overview, an unlawful assembly is a gathering of 3 or more people who intend to carry out a common purpose, whether lawful or unlawful, in a violent or disorderly manner that causes fear or of immediate serious breaches of public peace, safety, or disorder, or obstructs public thoroughfares. It's a crime defined by the intent to disturb the peace, or commit violence, even if violence hasn't yet occurred, and often involves a refusal to disperse after police orders, making it distinct from riots where violence has started. They went into the supposedly they thought they went to the hotel where the ICE agents were staying. You see, and they were tearing it up. And we're gonna play the video. It says key elements. Number 3 or more people intent and share a purpose to act violently or create public disorder or to obstruct lawful access. In fact, the assembly must tend to inspire well-grounded fear of serious disruption of public peace or safety in people or ordinary courage. Distinction from riot. An unlawful assembly becomes a riot once a violent disturbance actually begins. Examples of actions, unlawful actions: gathering to commit a crime with force or violence, intentionally blocking public roads or building access. And that's what's going on. Refusing to obey a lawful order from law enforcement to disperse. Legal context: while the First Amendment protects assemblies, state laws allow police to intervene when there is a reasonable belief of danger, especially if the group refuses to disperse. Penalties vary, but it's often a misdemeanor with increased charges if if dangerous weapons are involved. All right, and it's going to lead to weapons being drawn. Sedition. Sedition. Sedition is speech or actions intended to incite rebellion, insurrection, or discontent against a government's authority, aiming to disrupt or overthrow it through unlawful means, and is distinct from treason, actual betrayal. That's what treason is, but can involve conspiring to oppose lawful authority, often by encouraging violence or undermining the government's functioning, protected less in the U.S. than mere opinion due to its potential for harm. All right? Though it is distinct from treason, but it is treason, which is betrayal. You say how? Because they're going against federal officials, in some cases, state officials. Both are part of the government. All right? Trump is still going to label you as a treason or as a treasonous, which is punishable by death and or 25 years imprisonment. All right? Now, when you watch this video, it's going to tell you that kids, because of the situation, ICE and what they got going on, what's put out there is that to fear these agents. So therefore, you got kids learning from home. They're not going to school. They going to what? Limited access. And people not being able to move around out and about. Okay? How checkpoints and curfews are coming because of the chaos. And don't look at it just a minute. It's going to be everywhere. All right, look at what was going on in Texas with the immigration situation. New York, these sanctuary cities. I mean, D.C., with National Guard, Minnesota. Look, just, y'all see. Y'all see. 2 Esdras 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You see? And being limited like that, like people don't have jobs. They can't pay bills. Just more and more trouble, more and more chaos. People being idle. For the scripture says, to be idle, bringing forth sin. You know, people say, well, idle mind is the devil's playground. Well, you got that from the scriptures. And don't even know it. It says, the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shah, Ecclesiastes 33 and 27, send him to labor that he be not idle, meaning not doing anything, just sitting there, wasting your time. For idleness teacheth much evil, you see? For idleness teacheth much evil, man. All right? And people start running out of food. They start to get bored, agitated, aggravated with their spouse, their children. Hey, they start taking killing one another. A lot of domestic violence start going on. And when people start running out of resources, hey, what's going to happen? Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. They're going to tear the cities to pieces. It says the houses, meaning crime rate, is going to be through the roof. The houses, they're going to destroy businesses. The houses shall be destroyed and men shall be afraid. You see? People can tear their own house up. Domestic violence disputes. People become mentally ill, man, stressed out. Hey, people gonna tear other people's houses to pieces. And men shall be afraid. All right? Protesting all these things of that nature going on. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, you see? And that's what it's going to lead to. So these things are here and they're being set up. All right? And they're literally playing out right before our very eyes. I think, let me see, I think I had something else. Real quick, I just want to pull out. It says U.S. forces wipe out Chinese and Russian air defense systems in Venezuela. Presidential doomsday plane lands in Los Angeles, provoking panic. And we hit this last night. So you see, hey, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. So let's just play. Greenland's leaders reject Trump push. We don't want to be Americans. And Trump said, hey, either we're going to buy or we're going to take it by force. All right? America's trying to take our resources, man. All right? But hey, back to this video. Protesters storm Indianapolis hotel where ICE agents believed to be staying. All right. And you can hear them talk about the woman. They can say, well, what made her become a liberal? Like, what possessed her mind to switch over? That's the big question. This is what they're gonna say in the video. Well, remember, the Trump administration said that, hey, people that's homeless are going to be labeled with mental issues. People that don't think along the same lines as his agenda, what they got going on, are going to be labeled with mental issues. Therefore, they can lock you up. Don't forget that. So you see the narrative that they're throwing out there. They're telling you what they're going to do. See, they don't come up here with these segments and use the type of verbiage that they use for no reason, man. There's always a deeper meaning behind what they say. Words have power. Words have meaning. All right? So they're telling you what they're going to do. All the things that have been put out last year and in the past, they're coming into play. And they're going to use it. All right? They're going to use it. And anyone who was not in compliance with the Trump administration and what they got going on their agenda, you're going to be labeled with mental disorder. You're going to be labeled as a treasonous, an enemy of the state. And they're coming for you, man. J.D. Vance already told you, hey, they can start going door to door. He already told you they have immunity, and Trump started that. Take the handcuffs up off on them. They can have immunity, meaning to be pretty much to be exempt from judgment, to be exempt from anything, to not be affected by it. All right?
There's news. Fox News alert: an unlawful assembly declared in Minneapolis after thousands of anti-ICE protesters hit the streets in response to the fatal shooting of Renee Good. The situation turning violent, with one group attempting to breach a hotel where they believed ICE agents are staying.
Matt Finn is live on the ground in Minneapolis with the latest. Matt, good morning. What are you seeing there?
Well, Rachel, it's quiet right now, but really just a few hours ago, not far from where I'm standing, things turned violent and got pretty dicey. A large crowd of protesters and rioters surrounded a hotel where they believe immigration agents are staying here in Minneapolis. Our Garrett Tenney was on the scene last night. He said a smaller group of the protesters broke into the depot in downtown Minneapolis, tossing around the furniture inside, while others were spray painting anti-ICE messages on the windows. Now, outside, the protesters were playing instruments, banging drums, and blowing whistles to prevent immigration agents from sleeping or getting rest. Our Fox affiliate reports police declared an unlawful assembly sometime around the 10 o'clock hour. Now, yesterday, body camera video showing some of the final moments leading up to that ICE agent shooting of Renee Good was obtained by Fox. Let's watch that full video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. Boom. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
He jumped in front of it, by the way.
Now, Vice President J.D. Vance says that body camera video shows that the officer shot Renee Good in self-defense, but the Democratic mayor of Minneapolis here, Jacob Fry, he is condemning the federal agent.
He walked away with a hop in his step from the incident. There's another person that's dead. He held on his cell phone. I think that speaks for itself. I can see a person that is trying to leave. I can see an ICE agent that was not run over by a car. That didn't happen.
So DHS sources, including a senior official, tell Fox News that about 1,000 additional agents are on their way here to Minneapolis, scheduled to surge this city. There's already roughly about 2,000 federal agents that have already been here, so it's very clear that DHS is placing its focus on Minneapolis-St. Paul right now. You know, last summer I covered the raids in Los Angeles. Of course, Fox covered everything that went down in Chicago, also New Orleans. Right now, the focus is on Minneapolis-St. Paul, and Border Patrol tells me the more immigration agents that are on the ground here, boots on the ground here, that frees up HSI investigators to investigate the ongoing fraud. That's the backdrop of all this. That fraud scandal that we've been reporting on, that's also happening simultaneously in addition to the immigration enforcement. So back to you guys in New York.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks, Matt. And I think it's such an important point. Obviously somebody is paying for all of this stuff.
Yes.
These people are working for people, and our top priority should be finding out who it is that is funding all of this stuff. But as Matt points out, crucial to understanding all of this is the fact that the timing of all of this. You have supposedly liberals, Democrats care about feeding the children and care about these programs that they came up with to feed children and educate children. Somali.
And we know who funding it. We done brought the information out by way of the Holy Spirit, and they know too.
Children in Minneapolis, and then suddenly, as we're uncovering billions of dollars of theft that have been going on in all of these programs by people who are connected to politicians like Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz, then suddenly all these protests break out over what appears to be an incredibly sad situation, an incredibly unfortunate situation, but one where an officer was doing nothing more than defending himself.
But it is tragic and sad, but yet you need to look at what Jacob Fry, the mayor there, says I should get the F out, and I think Jacob Fry should deal with the other F, and that are facts. Renee Good, this mother who has lost her life, got there by inserting herself into federal immigration law enforcement. Fox has confirmed that she was part of a group called ICE Watch that monitors, tracks, and interferes in federal immigration law enforcement with ICE on the ground. We know also through our reporting that she went to 2 other locations the same day before she got to the third one, and in both of those previous cases, she also used her vehicle to obstruct. You cannot obstruct. It is against the law to obstruct federal immigration law enforcement. She did so by putting her car there. The second thing she did wrong is when she was instructed by law enforcement to step out of the car, she refused that. And then the third thing, which Jacob Fry isn't acknowledging, is she used her car speeding towards the agent, striking him, as we now see on the tape, and yet he won't do that. And the real tragedy here, Rachel, is that this dishonest mayor, Jacob Fry, has literally been saying that ICE is here to kill you. What's that done? It's caused Minnesota's public schools to have this narrative, to believe this narrative, that maybe ICE agents are going to come in the school and kill you and do something horrible, so much so that now they're going to, you guessed it, remote learning. The AP got this email from Minneapolis schools saying that Minneapolis schools are offering remote learning as tensions rise over federal immigration enforcement.
That's right. They're using this as an excuse to basically go remote and put their social justice ahead of the education of our children. Of course, this isn't the first time we've seen this. We saw this all through COVID. I want to move back just a little bit to talk about this woman who was shot and killed. We're going to learn more about who she is. Yeah. What she was doing there, why she was being paid, and who was paying her to be a professional protester. This is a woman who lost custody of 2 of her children and then dropped one off at a daycare so she could go and participate in this kind of activity, taunting ICE, interfering with these lawful operations that ICE is doing. And the question is, how did she get so radicalized? It's not just who's paying her. How did she get, what's going on with liberal white women? And by the way, these are the same liberal white women, I think, who are, moving kids to remote learning in the Minneapolis schools. There's something happening, when they poll them on happiness level, no one scores lower on happiness than liberal white women. Also, no one scores higher for mental health problems than liberal women, white women. And so there's something else happening culturally, and there's something, as you said, that's being pushed by the mayor and other leaders. They obviously have a very strong political objective, as you said, get off the topic of the Somalis and the billions that are wasted that possibly are being laundered overseas and brought back into democratic coffers. Let's stop talking about that and let's talk about ICE. We don't know why exactly this woman was out there, but I guarantee somebody's paying her to participate in it.
So to clarify, there's a lot of reporting out there. We don't know the custody of the children thing is debatable. We don't know the actual facts. The facts we...
You see how they just threw that out there? But they don't know. This is what they do. They'll sow a seed in your brain by throwing something out there. Then they'll start watering it over time. But actually, really, if you let something fester in your brain and you think upon something that's not necessary, you're going to give it energy and it's going to grow. And you're going to start to believe it. And this is what, that's called slander, man. That's a part of slander. False narrative. Bearing false witness. And you don't even know the facts. But they're going to do the same thing to us. The Israelites, the hopeful elect, they're seeking to be the elect. They're going to do the same thing to anyone who is not in compliance with this new world order, man. This agenda, man. All right? So everything is here in this video.
Do know is that she belonged to this ICE Watch group, which claims to be legal observers. But if you are a legal observer at a protest, and I've covered hundreds of protests, they don't get involved. They don't insert themselves in the middle of it. So setting aside the details about her that we know and don't know, we do know she belonged to this group and she was acting on what they wanted to do, which was ultimately to get in the way of ICE, who, by the way, has a legitimate right and obligation to be in Minneapolis because it's a sanctuary city that does not turn over violent, criminal, illegal aliens, which started to be let in mass by the millions when President Biden took over.
Can I just say this? Legal observers. Notice again, when they like legal observers. Not during elections, but we'll pay you to be a legal observer and actually an agitator interfere in this ICE thing, but we don't like enough.
Mayor Fry, who it seems to be disappointed that the officer, that the ICE agent wasn't injured more. Maybe if had the ICE agent been severely injured, he would have been
and he'd been injured before and had stitches for this kind of behavior. So obviously he's going to be a little bit wary about it. Meanwhile, in Cal,
defend himself.
Yeah, of course, his right to defend himself.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
There you have it, man. All right, there you have it. Hey, stay prayed for the names of how about Shamal Shai. This place is finished. You know, a kingdom divided by civil war shall not stand. It has an end. Let me see. Protest, ICE. Oh, yeah, that's right. Protest going on today. Protest against ICE planned nationwide after shootings. All right. So, hey, they be having 5150s protests against Trump, against National Guard, against injustices, and against law enforcement. Hey, let's see what's gonna happen today. Hopefully it'll be a lot of shootings, a lot of chaos, man. So, you know, this thing can speed up more and more, and they go ahead and do what they're gonna do. But hey, we can't do nothing but wait on you. How about Shema Shai, man? The Lord's in control. Stay prayed for the names of how about Shema Shai. Be safe out there at camp. Shalom.